Hi all, this is Stephanie Breeze and this is my social psychology revelation. Entitlement. I don't have a problem with entitlement. The problem is that I'm not getting everything I want. This seems to be a common theme in our society these days, and I have a few ideas on this. The definition of entitlement throughout the Merriam-Webster dictionary is 1. The state or condition of being entitled or right. 2. A belief that one is deserving of or entitled to certain privileges. Now, being privileged and being entitled, I think, are two different things. Entitlement means that you expect it. Privilege means that you have it, but you're grateful for it. So my social psychology revelation is that entitlement occurs within an individual according to region and not necessarily specific to age. Entitlement probably means something different to everyone, but what I hear most often are people my age in their mid to late 40s and older complaining about the young kids these days. They say that these 20-somethings, the millennials, they don't want to work, they want everything handed to them, and they are entitled. Those older individualize, and I use older in quotation marks, classify entitled according to age, which is fairly common opinion and not a new revelation in social psychology. We want to know what I think? My new revelation is that entitlement isn't just age-related. It occurs according to the region. I grew up in a small town in Ohio, in southeastern Ohio, and I've never lived more than an hour away. My parents were taught as they were growing up to earn what you get, to respect others, to be kind to your neighbors, and be considerate. They passed that down to us. I'm the middle of 3, and that is how my brothers and I have all raised our children. I now have a millennial, and she is amazing. She works for a nonprofit in southeastern Ohio. She's extremely giving and caring and considerate, and she earns everything that she has and is appreciative and grateful. Back in June, my family and I, minus our millennial, moved to a city in Maryland for career opportunities for myself and my husband. Small town girl meets smallish city? Yeah, I guess. Over the next month of being here, there was not a day that went by that I was not shocked with the inconsideration people had for others around here. If you bump into someone, say excuse me, or if you're from Ohio like me, you say ope, and we all know what that means. If you accidentally pull out in front of someone, wave and while telling them that you're sorry. If you knock something off the shelf in the grocery store, pick it up. Don't say, oh, it's fine, leave it. It's not my job to clean this store. If you need to get something in a different aisle in the grocery store, take your cart with you. You do not leave it in the middle of the aisle, 3 aisles away, and expect others to simply walk around it. The more and more I thought about this in consideration, I came to realize it is what I believe is mere entitlement. Of these people that I am referring to, perhaps I would say 15 to 20 that I encountered over that first month were in their 20s or younger. The majority of these individuals were my age. They were mid to late 40s, and I would say possibly sometimes early 50s. I have now spent 8 months here, and it does not get any better. Parents with young children letting them run ahead across the street yelling, "Oh, it's okay, honey, that car will stop because you're a child." Or letting them push the grocery cart into the store and just run into people, which, okay, I let my kids push the grocery cart too when they were little, but never if it would harm anyone or be an inconsideration. And as soon as these children that run into someone, that someone gets the death stare from that parent, because, kids will be kids and adults should look where they're going. Okay, so I agree, maybe a little bit of both for a compromise. But how about raising your children and teaching them how to apologize if they were wrong, or say excuse me if they were in the way or bumped into you? Of course, I encountered situations like all of these in southeastern Ohio as well, as I'm sure there is a little of this everywhere you go, if you look close enough, but not as en masse as I have experienced here. In my opinion, the most prevalent form of entitlement in this area are the drivers. Now, I'm not talking about young, just got their license and experienced drivers. I'm talking about drivers that are clearly late 30s and older. Around this area, there are merge areas, and the merge lane is clearly marked that it will end just past the traffic light. The lane that is ending, without fail, will be lined up with what I call right laners. They hop in the right lane that is ending just to try and get ahead. Even if it is one car length, at least they are ahead, or they wait until the last minute to merge, again, expecting to be led over. I was talking about this with a coworker who is a native of the town I now live in, and was telling her that I just could not believe this kind of behavior. She said she thinks it's because people around here are competitive. They want to get ahead and they want to win the race. I thought about this for a while. I am one of the most competitive individuals that you will meet, and I would never be a right laner because my time is no more important than anyone else's time. I am no more important than anyone else, and I do not feel entitled to that particular car position. The last time I checked, we were all human beings. No, I really don't think that's a case of competitiveness. I believe it's a case of entitlement. I need to get over, and you're going to let me. Case in point, just this morning, I was stopped at a traffic light, one where the right lane just happened to end. Past said light, there were about 3 signs before that stoplight that said the right lane will end. I was the first car to the light, and there were only 3 cars behind me. So what happened? You guessed it. The car that would have been the fourth in line came up to the right lane. As soon as the light turned green, we both took off, and he swerved in front of me just as the lane was ending, and I had to slam on my brakes. The funny part, and the ironic part, I guess, is we both ended up at the next light at the same exact time. We were both going to the same destination. What did he gain from this action? I don't think anyone will ever really know, but what I do think is that he felt entitled to have that spot in the line of traffic, and he didn't take anyone else into consideration. Now, it may be that the area I live in is so populated that it seems like everyone I come in contact with has an entitlement attitude, or it could be, in fact, the popular attitude of the area, and generations of natives of the city are raising entitled individuals as a way of life, and that is just their norm. This is one of my favorite quotes. If there is one thing which it would benefit you to remove from your various cultural myths, it is this idea that by means of some magic ingredient, you have been made better than some other humans. So no, I don't think entitlement is strictly relational to age. I think there are many factors that lead to someone feeling and acting entitled, but I believe the first and foremost, around here at least, happens to be by region. I suppose my limited travel experience and the fact that I grew up in a small town where everyone else knows what you are going to do before you even do it, or in fact they might tell you something about yourself that you didn't even know. I think that probably contributes to the shock factor I feel when I come across someone that is acting entitled. I'm just dumbfounded that as human beings, they can treat each other with such a sense of disregard, that they can be so self-absorbed that they don't see anything wrong with being or acting entitled. Life can be hard. Rather than focusing on ourselves and who or what can serve us, we really should be focusing on how we can encourage, lift up, nurture, and help each other. I understand entitlement may be a sensitive issue, and maybe I'm reaching out on a branch here to say that it's varied by region, but I don't know, and I guess that's why we're doing this project. It really got me thinking, is it because I'm from a small town that I see these things that others don't see? Are they so engrossed in their surroundings and the me of all of their thoughts that they just can't see others or be considerate? And I think that's probably what makes entitlement such a sensitive issue. I'm really curious as to what you all think. I think the ages in this in our class probably vary, so I hope I don't come off as bitter or angry or frustrated. Well, I probably am a little frustrated, but mostly I'm just passionate, and I'm passionate about human beings being treated equally. And entitlement's just one of the things that I really see in this area that I didn't see back home. So I'm really curious as to what you all think, and I'm excited to listen to your opinions. Thank you guys.